You cannot be serious!
Code violation, verbal abuse, default, Mr. McEnroe.
The ball was so in! You owe me an apology. I have never cheated in my life!
In tennis, there are no instant replays for every call, no review boards, no second opinions, just one person in a chair with the power to destroy dreams. This is the story of when umpires became more powerful than the players themselves. We all think of tennis as a gentleman's game, right? Wrong. Behind the handshakes and the pressed whites, there's a power dynamic most fans never think about. One person sits 10 feet above the court with absolute authority. They can issue warnings, deduct points, even disqualify a champion in the middle of a final, and sometimes they get it spectacularly wrong. I'm talking about calls that cost players grand slams, decisions that ended careers, moments where the umpire didn't just officiate the match, they decided it. Let's go back to where it all started. June 1981. Wimbledon, first round. John McEnroe is facing Tom Gullickson when a serve is called out. McEnroe knows it was in. He walks up to the chair and delivers the line that would define an era.
You can't be serious, man. You cannot be serious! That ball was on the line. Chalk flew up. It was clearly in.
You cannot be serious. That ball was on the line, or chalk flew up. The umpire, Edward James, doesn't budge. McEnroe loses his mind, and something shifts in tennis forever. Before this moment, players mostly accepted calls. The umpire's word was gospel, but McEnroe, he made challenging authority into performance art. Now here's the thing, was the ball in? We'll never know. No Hawkeye, no replay. Just James in his chair playing God while McEnroe's championship hopes hung in the balance. McEnroe would go on to win that Wimbledon, but the precedent was set. Players realized these umpires weren't infallible. They were human. And humans make mistakes. Big ones. Fast forward 9 years. 1990 Australian Open. McEnroe versus Mikael Pernfors. McEnroe is cruising when he argues a call, slams his racket, and mouths off to the umpire. After 3 code violations, the chair issues the ultimate punishment, default.
Code violation, racket abuse, point penalty, Mr. McEnroe. Code violation, verbal abuse, default, Mr. McEnroe.
Whoa!
Think about that. The best player in the world thrown out of a Grand Slam. Not because he lost, but because an umpire decided his behavior crossed the line. One man's judgment. Career ramifications, no appeal. For decades, this was just how tennis worked. Umpires made calls, players lived with them, end of story. Then, in the mid-2000s, the US Open began experimenting with something revolutionary, instant replay. The technology, known as Hawkeye, was officially introduced in 2006, letting players challenge line calls and see the truth in real time. And you know what? The umpires were wrong, a lot. Serena Williams, 2004 US Open quarterfinals against Jennifer Capriati. Before Hawkeye was fully implemented, Serena got absolutely jobbed. Multiple bad calls. Balls clearly in, called out. Balls clearly out, called in, but only against Serena.
Excuse me? The ball was so in! No, it was not. What the heck is this? No, that ball, this is
crazy.
She lost in 3 sets. And here's the kicker. Later analysis showed those calls potentially cost her the match. The USTA even issued an apology. 1 umpire, 1 quarterfinal, 1 Grand Slam stolen. Serena was furious. The tennis world was furious. And finally, officials admitted they needed help. Enter Hawkeye. Now players had recourse. 3 challenges per set. Show me the replay. Let the computer decide. Suddenly, umpires couldn't hide behind "it's my call." You'd think this would solve everything, right? Wrong. Because umpires still control things Hawkeye can't see. Time violations, code violations, coaching calls, unsportsmanlike conduct. And that's where the real power plays happen. September 8th, 2018. U.S. Open Final, Serena Williams versus Naomi Osaka. Serena is chasing her 24th Grand Slam. Osaka is playing the match of her life. Then umpire Carlos Ramos spots Serena's coach, Patrick Mouratoglou, making hand signals from the box. Coaching violation, warning issued. Now here's the reality. Coaching signals happen all the time from the player boxes. Everyone knows it. Umpires usually let it slide because it's nearly impossible to police evenly. But Ramos decided this was the moment to enforce the rule. Serena argues. She tells him she doesn't cheat.
I didn't get coaching. You need to make an announcement that I didn't get coaching. I don't cheat. I didn't get coaching. How can you say that?
The warning stands. Later in the match, she smashes her racket in frustration. That's her second violation, automatic point penalty. Then she calls Ramos a thief. That's verbal abuse, third violation, game penalty, in a Grand Slam final.
You owe me an apology. I have never cheated in my life. I have a daughter and I stand what's right for her and I've never cheated.
Serena is in tears. The crowd is booing. Naomi Osaka wins her first major while crying because the moment has been completely overshadowed. And here's the question nobody can answer. Was Ramos right? Technically, yes. The rules say coaching from the box is illegal, but enforcing a rule that's rarely enforced in a final at that moment. That's not officiating. That's deciding the match. Serena got fined $17,000. Osaka got a championship overshadowed by controversy. And Ramos, he became the story. The debate raged for months. Some said Serena was out of line. Others said Ramos was on a power trip. But everyone agreed on one thing. The umpire changed the outcome of a Grand Slam final. 2020 U.S. Open, 4th round. Novak Djokovic is frustrated. He's just lost his serve to Pablo Carreño Busta. In a moment of anger, he takes a ball and swats it behind him. The ball hits a line judge directly in the throat. She collapses. Djokovic immediately realizes what he's done. He rushes over, but the damage is done. Chair umpire Aurélie Tourte has a decision to make. It's Djokovic, the favorite to win the tournament, the number one player in the world. Does he get the benefit of the doubt? No way. Default, tournament over, Djokovic is disqualified. And here's the thing, she made the right call. The rules are crystal clear. You hit an official, intentional or not, you're done. But imagine the pressure of that moment. Ending Djokovic's tournament, potentially costing him a Grand Slam. One judgment call. History altered. Then there's Alexander Zverev in Acapulco 2022. He loses a doubles match, walks directly to the umpire's chair, and starts smashing his racket against it, while the umpire is still sitting there. Complete meltdown. Immediate ejection from the tournament. These aren't just about bad calls anymore, they're about control, about respect, about what happens when the pressure of a match meets the absolute authority of one person in a chair. So where does this leave us? Technology has fixed some problems. Hawkeye eliminates most bad line calls. Now, electronic line calling systems are replacing line judges altogether. But the human element, that's never going away. Because even in the age of automation, someone still has to make judgment calls, to decide when a player has crossed the line, to enforce rules that can't be measured by computers. And as long as one person has that power, there will be controversy. There will be moments where we ask, did the umpire just decide this match? McEnroe was right about one thing back in 1981. These calls matter. They can change careers, championships, legacies. So the next time you're watching a match and you see an umpire make a controversial call, remember, you're not just watching tennis. You're watching someone play God. If you enjoyed this breakdown of tennis's most controversial moments, hit that subscribe button. Next time we're diving into the wildest on-court meltdowns in tennis history. Trust me, you don't want to miss it.